Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. And we are back with our friend, Dr. Laura Garland, and she is a shamanic Reiki master and so much more, based out of beautiful Charleston, South Carolina. Welcome back to the show today, Miss Laura. How are you?
I'm doing well. At least I hope I am.
Ooh, okay, that got me going. What's happening? What's happening? Is it a Mercury retrograde situation?
No.
What is it?
It's actually I didn't pull any cards today because I didn't have to. I didn't have to look anything up because the universe handed me a topic on a silver platter this morning. Beautiful. And it's one of those things where if you don't pay attention, at your own peril, whatever that might be. But it's really obvious. It's synchronicities.
Okay.
So synchronicity is literally the magic of the universe. And here's the story. So this morning I get into work and I got a text from one of my husband's clients who was in first thing yesterday morning. And she texted and said, I popped positive for COVID. And they were in the office for 50-ish minutes together. It closed door, no mask, the whole 9 yards.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I get that. And then I'm like, okay, now we have to do all the contact tracing. We got to tell everybody. And then I start looking at it and I realize we have a whole ton of synchronicities that happened yesterday. So right before that client, my husband decided to do what's called Wim Hof. It's a guy. He's the Iceman. You can look him up, Wim Hof. He does this whole breathing technique where you super oxygenate your blood and it supercharges your immune system. So my husband doesn't do that every day. He tries, but life. So, but yesterday morning, he did it right before this client came in. So this particular breathing supercharges your immune system. So that's synchronicity number one. Synchronicity number two, any other day of the week, I would be in the office in the morning and would have been there interacting with the client. But Tuesdays, I have class in the morning. And so I don't come in.
Yeah.
I don't come into the office until the afternoon session. So I wasn't in the office. That's synchronicity number two. Number three is my husband then decided to go out into nature and just hang out. So I didn't see him until 1 p.m. 4, his 3 clients after that all canceled due to totally weird, uncontrollable circumstances. And they were all supposed to come in. And 2 out of those 3 clients are probably our most immune vulnerable clients that we have.
Okay.
And the 2 of them would have been the 2 directly after her. But they didn't come in. And then 2 of our afternoon clients canceled, again, weird circumstances, but the circumstances they were under, if they had come in, it would have been such that their immune system would have been compromised because of what was going on for them. So they didn't, they opted not to even do the appointment due to what was going on. Then we had 2 other clients who, due to their work circumstances, had to convert their in-person appointment to a virtual appointment.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then there were several other virtual appointments that we already had, but that meant 2 out of the 10 people who were clients after her that day, only 2 people showed up in the office that day.
Wow.
That is synchronicity.
Yeah.
Now, my husband was like very stressed because we had all these changes with the schedule going on, and I ended up having to work a whole bunch of movement around of clients and everything to get stuff to work out yesterday. So it stressed him out. And he was like, oh my God, why is this happening all in a single day? But now we look back and are like, dang, thank goodness it all happened. Because when we had to do contact tracing, I only had to call 2 people and say, hey, hey, we got exposed yesterday. We went and got our test this morning. Might have been slightly too early. We don't know. So, and that we haven't gotten the results back yet. So,
wow.
So that was why I hope I'm okay.
Wow.
And on top of that, our pollen is still insane. And, both of us were sneezing our heads off last night. Yeah, there's drip down the back of the throat, but it's pollen. We were sneezing like crazy. Both of us had wicked headaches, but it's pollen. God, I think my husband may have given himself a concussion with a sneezing he was doing yesterday. So, so we're just really, the synchronicity though there was just so great, actually, that only 2 people came in, and those 2 happened to be very young, have 3 vaccinations, in great health. So that was just, if anything, they were 2 of our least likely to catch it clients. Yeah. So it was just, the synchronicity was amazing. And synchronicity is how the universe manifests stuff for us. It literally is the magic. Sometimes we're paying attention and we notice the synchronicities. Yesterday, it was just one of those nightmare. Yeah, that's what we thought. It was schedule nightmare. Today, looking at it, it's like, oh no, that was the universe setting things up to make sure that our clients didn't get exposed. Those who might have had issues. So sometimes we're paying attention, sometimes we're not. Sometimes we can't see the synchronicity when it happens. We can only see it in retrospect. And a lot of the times that's the case. You don't know what it is when it's happening. You can see it in retrospect. Synchronicities literally do happen all the time, but a lot of times they don't seem magical. They seem terrible, or they seem not nice, or frustrating, or something. And sometimes on retrospect, like today, it was actually great. But sometimes what it is what we're calling to ourselves. So we're always calling things from the universe to ourselves. And, that horrible thing that you're thinking about, you keep thinking about, and it's some, oh, I don't want to get in a car wreck. I don't want to get in a car wreck. I don't want to get in a car wreck. 2 days later, you're in a car wreck.
Manifesting like that, is it? I mean, are we, or it's intuition that something is going to happen? I mean,
it's a both thing. Both things are happening. So you might be picking up on the fact that somebody else is going to be driving insane in 2 days. But then at the same time, you keep thinking and thinking and thinking about it instead of just dropping it. You keep, and that's the thing is when you ruminate on it, when you obsess about something, then you're really sending the vibe into the universe because you're thinking about it so much. So you might have had an intuition that somebody where you normally would drive is going to be crazy. But instead of being like, okay, I'm going to take a completely different route, you obsess about, I don't want to get in the car wreck. I don't want to get in the car wreck. I don't want to get in a car wreck. And so you end up making sure that your circumstance meets whoever it is that was having a stupid day. Or whatever you want to call it. So I do really think that both interplay there. You pick up on something, but then you obsess about it.
Yeah.
As opposed to you pick up on something and go, maybe I'll be super attentive, pay really careful attention, make sure, watch people too close behind me or me too close to somebody. Watch for people deciding on the interstate that they're in the left lane and have to get off at the exit that's 100 yards ahead. Whatever it is.
Yeah.
Just, I'll be super attentive instead of like focusing in and being super attentive and then being able to use the intuition to avoid it. We obsess, and then we get what we obsessed about. That's still synchronicity, because it's just not a happy synchronicity. And not everything. I'm not saying that everything is completely within your control. It's not. There are people with complete free will out there, and you might not have been tuned in enough to pick up an intuition to know to avoid something. And so somebody else's free will collides with your free will and makes a mess. Whatever it is. Car wreck is an easy one to see, but there are multiple other things that can mess up in your life. There is also the potential that when you signed on for this life, you signed on to deal with some lessons. Contracts
of your ancestors. What do you call them? Ancestral contracts? Or we've talked about that.
Sure.
Okay.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes. So you could have signed on to learn some lessons, and lessons usually aren't happy, joy, fun. They usually involve some sort of trauma or trial or something you have to work through. So in essence, though, with a lesson, though, because you did sign on for it, your soul is drawing that to you. So there's going to be a set of synchronicities that line you up for that lesson. Again, you probably actually don't want to get out of those, because you do want to learn your lesson in this life. So next time around, you don't have to do the same lesson over again. Because usually each time you put it off, it gets worse. So, next life, if you miss the lesson in this life, next life, it might be even worse. Or if you shove it down the line in this life, when it comes back around, it's usually more intense. So if you don't learn it now, you got to learn it later, whether it's later this life or some further life. But it's still synchronicities. You're still drawing stuff to you. What we want to draw is we want to draw the good stuff, right? We want to draw the happiness. We want to draw people into our lives who support us, who raise us up, who feel like we're partners with in some way, whether they're friends or close or beyond friends, doesn't matter. We still want to feel more of a partner, sort of work with people. And especially after COVID, we want to draw supportive, happy people who raise us up. But to do that, you got to really focus on drawing in that sort of person, and you have to work on yourself so that sort of person will want to come to you. So if you're in a really negative space right now, it's going to be really hard to draw really happy, supportive, partner type people into your life. That's going to be difficult. And you're going to be like, well, I can't get into a good space unless I have those. Well, okay. It's all an inside job. So you got to start on yourself. It's always starting on yourself and working on making yourself the best possible self you want to be. Gandhi's famous quote, "Be the change in the world that you want." So that I mangled that was a paraphrase. But if you want positive, happy, supportive people in your life, you need to start being positive, happy, and supportive for yourself. So no tearing yourself down, supporting yourself, doing self-care, working on whatever's going on in your head that is making it so that you're not happy. And whether that's working with a counselor, whether that's working with a coach, either of those are really awesome options depending on where you're at. If you're way down and you're like clinically depressed, it's going to be really hard to pull happy, supportive people into your life. Going to be very hard. If you're clinically depressed, please find a counselor and go work with them. Please, please, please. But if you're just kind of the whole angsty that so many of us are after the last several years, and you're having trouble getting yourself out of the angstiness, and you don't have friends that you can talk to, or you don't want to talk to them, or you don't have family that you don't want to, necessarily put that on friends or family. You don't want to bring that into that relationship. A coach is an awesome option. That's what we're trained to do, actually, is work with the more angsty. We're not trained to work with the clinical depression, but we are trained to work where you're in some form of angst and need to find ways in your life to move forward. And once you start focusing on that moving forward, then those good synchronicities start clicking into your life. And like yesterday, my husband and I had actually been over the weekend, we had been really working on some stuff with ourselves and improving our business and thinking about things as we come out of COVID, and how is this going to play now that we're out of COVID, and what are we going to do? And then Tuesday seemed weird, but Tuesday was actually great for what happened. So when you focus on working on yourself, you start to bring the synchronicities, and it takes practice to see them. We're usually so busy, so many things coming at us, that we don't notice all the time when something pops up in our life that's a synchronicity that can work for us, that is a good thing, and we don't latch onto it. So we let an opportunity go by. And this is where we bring in the whole mindfulness perspective. Yes, it comes back to this all the time. Being present in the now allows you to realize when one of these magical good synchronicities are happening for you, and you can grasp onto it. So yesterday, my husband was very stressed with the changes, but I looked at it somehow yesterday, and I was like, I really don't know what's going on here, but it's really, by the afternoon, it was very clear to me that there was something key going on. I just didn't know what it was yet, but I had tuned in to go, yeah, there's something key going on here. I didn't know what it was till this morning. But I had spent, the class yesterday was really very much about being present. That was the class that we were working on, was working on our presence, and being in the moment and being really right there to feel what was going on, to understand the energy that was going on. And so that being present really allowed me, I think, to be like, yeah, because I wasn't stressed about it. I was like, yeah, there's something going on. And that was where you want to be, to take advantage of things. Like, I didn't push anybody to change what they were doing or how they were, oh no, you really should come in. I might have done that with several of the clients knowing what was going on, that they kind of really did need to see someone yesterday. But for some reason, I was like, nope, don't do that. And just let it glide until their next appointment. And that was about that presence. So when you're mindful in the now, right here, when the synchronicities show up
in the moment, yeah,
you can act on them better. I'm not the Dalai Lama. No, I'm not that present. Nope, not that present. He's amazing. Not the Pope. He's pretty present too. Nope, not that. But when I manage to be in the present, it was much calmer than I might have normally been with the myriad of changes that went on yesterday.
Yeah.
And I had an inkling that there was something bigger going on. And I somehow knew yesterday evening that today I'd figure out what the heck was going on. And sure enough, got in and there was the text. But synchronicities come when we're really tuned in. If we want the good ones, the ones that feel like magic to us, you got to be really tuned in.
Yeah.
And to be tuned in, you got to be in the present. You got to be right here, right now, thinking about here and now, not in the past. Last time we talked about sending our energy to the past and how that depleted us, and then sending our energy to the future and how that depleted us. You want to be here and now, because here and now is the only moment that we actually have to create things. And if you create great in this moment,
I believe it. Yeah.
Then guess what? Your past is going to be
great.
in two moments, your past is now going to be great. No matter what it was before. And if that moment you create great, then your past is going to be more great. And then if in the next moment you create great, then soon you have a whole past of great. And is that necessarily easy? No. If it was really easy, we'd all do it all the time, and we wouldn't have any war, and we wouldn't have any famine, and we wouldn't have any of that. So I'm suggesting that people try to be right here, right now, see what synchronicities come to you, because they can be really magical. Like, you can be in the now, in your shower, in the morning, and be really, really present. And at the same time, you can have a vision for where you need to go. And this is where things get a little complicated. So you need a really great vision for the future. You need to have a great vision for the future so that you can be in the now, making choices in your mind that support that vision in the future. So if the vision in the future is getting this fabulous project done, and you have this vision of getting this fabulous project done, whether it's for personal or professional, whatever, you're going to get a fabulous project done, and you know that there are certain steps that have to be done to do that, and certain things have to line up, and you're not sure about a couple of those. You know they're in there somewhere, but you're not sure, especially maybe the next one. You're not really sure what the next step is, or what has to happen, or what, but you have that vision. So in the shower in the morning, you're really present with yourself. It's experiencing yourself as if you had completed this project. And then you go to Starbucks or your favorite coffee place. Maybe it's a lovely, nice little local place. I don't know where you go. You go to your favorite coffee place and you're in line, And the people behind you are standing there talking about exactly the thing that you need for that next step. And you didn't realize it until you heard them talk about it. I have had so many clients tell me that that is precisely the thing that has happened, because they got really present with where they were that day, and still kind of, there's this vision that is available, but it's a vision of awesomeness, of greatness, of a dream, not a vision that's created because of terrible stuff that happened in the past, or even icky stuff that happened in the past, or even just meh stuff that happened in the past. It's a great vision. That great vision, by being present right then in the shower, they're thinking about themselves having completed that great vision, just envisioning themselves, holding themselves in a space of having completed that. And then they go to their favorite coffee place, and the very next step, which they weren't sure of, but they didn't focus on that. That was not what they focused on.
Mm-hmm.
That very next step shows up because the two people behind them were talking about exactly what they need. Or maybe it was the two people in front of them, or maybe it was the people at the counter. But because I've heard all different versions of that.
Of course.
But, you know, and there it is. And that's synchronicity. And it's about getting really clear on a really great vision, not a crappy vision. Don't have a crappy vision. Get clear on a really great vision, and then be in the now, believing that vision is complete. And then that's the synchronicity that will start happening to draw that right through for you.
Absolutely.
And it's amazing. It's amazing how those things can happen. Absolutely amazing. So, magic of the universe, there really is.
Yeah.
It really is magic.
So advice to sum up today is to, well, keep it positive. Go ahead. Put out, stay present.
Stay present. Get yourself a great vision. Keep it positive and stay present right now, making choices that will get you that vision, because you're so present right now. You're not stuck in the past and whatever ick or meh happened back then. You're right now making the choice, making a great choice.
Beautiful.
So
thank you so much.
Like I said,
CharlestonReikiandTarot.com. How else can we reach you?
Sure. Direct email, drlaura.coach. So drlaura.coach@gmail.com, or direct phone 843-259-8349.
I like that. Something to be said for the real phone, right?
Yes.
I like it. I'm more of a phone person myself, but I do like texting better than calling. Can we text you?
Yes, actually,
right,
that exact same number is a number that you can text me.
Perfect. Just making sure. Thank you so much, Dr. Garland. We appreciate working with you and speaking with you today. Thank you for your insight. And everyone, let's stay present today. Stay focused. Make it a good one. Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.